Walking down here to the track, and here is a look at the racing surface before tonight. This is English Creek, one of the more well-known outlaw kart tracks out here in the Midwest. And man, looking at it, it looks like it's really, really cool. Always heard it was similar to Cycleland Speedway back in Chico at home. Really wide, really good banking. And actually, I have to say, like, it's interesting looking at this track. It feels so small just because of every, racing sprint cars. You get used to how big the tracks are. You walk up here and you realize that it's actually pretty good size for an outlaw kart track. So we're going to be competing here. I think that I heard there's over 50 opens in the pit area. There's a ton between all the divisions here. I just rolled in. It's about an hour till pit meeting. Don't really know nothing. I got to go get a pit pass. Got to get signed in. Don't know what the format is. So this is kind of fun, different. Just rolling on the fly. Jimmy and them have been working hard. They did their own little tour through the Midwest, racing other tracks and stuff, but this was kind of the big one. And since I, didn't have anything on my schedule, figured I'd swing on over and get the chance to race. So I think tonight we have some sort of qualifying and heat races, and then all the features with all the money are tomorrow. But as I find out things, you guys will find out things, and we'll get the night underway in just a little bit. So just got back from the pit meeting, so I finally got the lowdown. I'm the type of racer, I like to be informed on what's going on, otherwise it kind of messes with me. So cars are about ready to go. Here soon, we are gonna go and do a hot lap session. We'll fire up on the way there, get some engine heat. That's the difference I forget. Outlaw Karts, of course, where I come from, we don't have to do engine heat or wheel pack. So we're gonna go out there, hot lap, we'll come back in, then we'll get to go and qualify, and then we have a heat race. Qualifying, it's important to do well because you get 100 points for quick time. So you get 100 points if you qualify first, and then if you qualify quick time, you're gonna be on the pole of the heat race, and you get an additional 59, I believe, if you win that heat race from the pole. So basically you wanna score as many points as possible, and the way to do that is just to try to go quick time and then start on the front of your heat race and lead all the laps. So that's what we're gonna try to do, and then the rest of the program will be ran tomorrow. Gonna be strapping in just a little bit. There are a ton of cars here though, so it's gonna most likely be a pretty late night, and we're just gonna be here for the show. So we just completed hot laps, got back to the trailer, and a fun fact about the place we're running, some would probably say, Tanner, do you feel nervous hopping in an outlaw kart and like that transition back and forth between a sprint car? And I would say no, just in general. But the good news about this place is actually with the size of it, being one of the larger outlaw kart tracks that you would run, the banking, the speed, you would run it just like a place like Knoxville or a big sprint car track. And what I mean by that, it's not like a bull ring where you throw it in and maybe scrub a little speed and have to set the car and you're driving almost sideways. You want to lock your elbows, keep your hands steady, and just try to keep the car straight to build as much momentum around each corner. And I quickly realized that first lap was okay, second lap was a little better, and then as I just got upwards of 5 hot laps total, I just got faster and faster each lap. We were third quick out of 61 cars, and the whole top 3 was actually from our factory QRC camp. So that was good, of course, because it showed that we have speed, but that was only hot laps. So now we have to go back out and we actually have to qualify. We'll be on the clock. Out of all 61 cars, I drew pretty low, so I should be one of the first ones out, see one of the best surfaces, and just try to lay down the best time possible. If we can do that, as I mentioned earlier, that should put us up front in a heat race, so it's extremely important to lay down a good time, but not worried. We had the speed in hot laps and don't have to make too many changes, I think, here as we go into time trials. Small catastrophe to start the night. You know, went out in a prime spot there for qualifying. I was feeling good. I'm like, if I can kind of set the bar here with a solid time, maybe we can hang out at the top of the charts. Got out there and all of a sudden the engine started like blubbering, like whoa, whoa, as I gave it gas. And then it died completely, tried to fire it back off, and it didn't run. Well, what ended up happening is the pulse line, which runs right there, kind of next to my arm, runs right into the carburetor. It fell off. And so, you know, something really small, like, you know, you put it back on, put a zip tie around it, good to go. But then since we didn't run in our group because I had to get pushed off the track, I did not technically get a time and I had to go at the end. And I understand getting the one lap at the end. I mean, that's kind of standard. You miss your spot, you know, you shouldn't get all your laps. But the unfortunate part was no matter what I ran, I couldn't be any faster than 10th. So I went out there in one lap, I ran a 10.5, which would have put me 4th, but I got given a 10.8. So I mean, at least we were able to salvage it. We were able to get a lap. At first they didn't want to give me a lap. They said I got one, which the lap that they scored me on was when they pushed me around with the quad. I got like a 28-second lap or something crazy, but got out there, ripped off something, you know, to put me in the top 10 to salvage some points, and now we'll see where that lines us up for a heat race. We should start front row outside, and if we play a little damage control here and win it, maybe we can gain a little bit back and try to, you know, move ourselves up. Well, made it up to the racetrack. They're about halfway through heat races right now. Just looking at it right now, it's actually, at the end of qualifying, it was finally starting to kind of, you know, show some character. The bottom slicked off. The top still has some moisture, enough to kind of lean on, and some of the open guys were able to make it work. The bottom was still just a tiny bit quicker, but like I said, as we run some more laps on it, I think it's actually going to be pretty good. Now, it's almost 12:30 right now, and we probably still have a solid 10 heat races left until I go, so it's gonna be late. I'm trucking through, just trying to pay attention to the racetrack. I don't want to, you know, it's easy on these late nights to lose focus, but definitely got to be on it, especially after we had that qualifying mishap. They ended up scoring us 11th, so we really need to try to win this heat race from the front row outside to gain anything back to lock directly into the show. If I'm, you know, assuming how the format all works, we should be able to make it in if we win this heat. So far though, first impression of the racetrack, I think this place is it's neat. It's got potential. We just got to kind of see, you know, what it continues to do as it hopefully gets closer to the outside wall this direction and then loses grip, you know, and gets narrower and narrower on the bottom. So we're gonna get ready for the heat soon. I have a fan that wants to be in the video. What's your name, bud? Chase. Chase, how are you? Good. How's the night been so far? Good. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, a lot of really good fans here at the English Creek Kart track. A lot of really good race car drivers and a lot of talent. But I'm enjoying watching them. It's been cool to hang out. Like I said though, we're just kind of trucking through and got to finish this first night off strong with a good heat race run. nice. Had to get ballsy for that one, but got the heat race win from second. Just getting cars loaded up to finish the first night of the Kart Nationals. You can almost see it on the camera. That's how crazy it is. But the water and the humidity in the air, like the moisture back here in the Midwest, and this is probably the worst. Like we've ran 15 times so far during our Midwest tour and haven't really seen anything like this. I don't know if it's because it's 2 a.m. and just at this part of the morning it finally gets this way, but yeah, definitely wild how the racetrack saw multiple changes as far as it started to slick off and then it came back in certain spots. Did what we had to do there in that heat race, started front row outside, didn't get the jump I was hoping to. As the air's kind of been getting worse, it's harder for our engines to fire off with a CR500. You just gotta be so good with the clutch and you gotta time it right and clean it out, and I didn't get the jump. Kind of made some contact on the front stretch, didn't get through 1 and 2 well. I think that was probably my opportunity, as the inside car was trying to go to the top and I was trying to go to the bottom, and like we crisscrossed lines, and then from there I was just trying to match the leader's pace because I'm trying to run the bottom. He was running the bottom well and that line was fast, but he was also kind of sliding up in certain spots. So we had a yellow come out and I'm like, I just got to try to rip what was the top side now, not completely on the fence, but get my right sides in it and just try to build enough momentum and put a crossover move going down one of the straightaways. And I quickly picked up on that turn 2 was the spot to do it. 3 and 4, you just don't build enough speed, but 1 and 2, you can get off the corner. I turned left, kind of got to the bottom of the straightaway, and you just have to commit, and I was able to, and then kind of just like a slingshot going into the corner, make my move where I have more mile an hour, and then from there I was just running away as hard as I could, kind of running a block line just to make sure that nothing could be thrown back my way. Those were super crucial heat race points. We needed that to try to be as far up as possible after our qualifying mishap. You know, if I would have been farther up there, maybe we could have just got out front. That was kind of the ideal situation going into today. Just qualify good, get out front from the pole, but starting on that outside, you know, you have to work for it a little bit more, and we did our job. Race car was good, and we put together a really nice 8 laps. So we just got back to the RV right now, about 15 minutes from the track, and it's 2:35 a.m. It's time to get some sleep. This is gonna wrap up day number 1. I feel like we kind of made the best of our, I mean, not bad situation, but not the most perfect situation, you know, losing a couple points there in qualifying, but went forward in the heat race, and hopefully that will set us up maybe somewhere around 8th in points after the first day. I'm still trying to learn more about the format and what day number 2 is gonna look like. I just know we have a feature with money being paid out. I just don't know exactly how it's gonna line up, if there's a dash or there's a redraw. Nonetheless, it was fun racing again with Jimmy Elledge and Factory QRC. Jimmy has done so much for my racing career, and for all my sprint car people that don't watch my kart stuff, Jimmy's like a second father to me. What him and I have, I value so much, and it's rare in dirt racing and maybe just in the world in general. We're just such great friends, and he's done a lot to develop my racing career and just, you know, done a lot for me in general. So always be grateful for that, and that's why it's so hard when he gives me the call and he's like, hey, you want to go race? It's like, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Long story short, it's a lot of fun. He has great equipment, and it always gets around the track super well. All right, I'm gonna go to bed, and we'll be back in the next video to try and chase this check-in trophy. Deuces.